Good morning everyone. Today we shall discuss three topics. That is, the first topic is consumers and producers surplus. The second topic is price ceiling and price floors. That is, we will study the concept of price control. And thirdly, the cost of taxation upon the producer as well as the consumer. So first of all, let us deal with what is producer surplus and the consumer surplus, and how it is determined using a diagram. First of all, we know that a market equilibrium for a good is determined by the intersection of the demand and supply curve. So let us consider that we are studying the equilibrium for a market of good X, and the demand curve for this good is given by DD, whereas the supply curve for this good is given as SS. Now the equilibrium has been established at point E, okay, and this is the equilibrium level of price P star, and this is the equilibrium level of quantity Q star. Okay, so over here, this area A, say, is your consumer's surplus. For this diagram, consumer surplus is A, that is the area above equilibrium price and below the demand curve. Okay, so this area is basically your consumer surplus, and the producer surplus over here is this area B, that is the area below equilibrium price but above the supply curve. Okay, so based on the diagram, this is the consumer surplus and the area of producer surplus. Okay, now let us move to the concept of price control. Now who controls the price over here? Here the government controls the price. Okay, and why so? Because sometimes the equilibrium price may be very high or very low, which may be inappropriate for the consumer or the producer. Okay, so in such case, the government needs to apply the concept of price ceiling or price floor, depending upon the situation. So let us see what the situation of price control is. Suppose your equilibrium price is equilibrium price that is determined by the intersection of demand and supply has come up to be very high. Say the demand curve is this, the demand curve for a good is this, and the supply curve for a good is this. Now this is the equilibrium, and this is the equilibrium level of price, say P star, and this is the equilibrium level of quantity Q star. Now if the market is left free, that is no government intervention is taking place at these circumstances, then the equilibrium price, that is O P star amount, might be very high for certain section of the society, and for the very high rate of price, that certain section of the society may not get access to the demand, may not get access to the good. Suppose if the price, the commodity that we are dealing is say rice, and the price determined by the intersection of demand and supply is 100. So according to the free market, the per kg rice should be sold at a rupees of 100 per kg. Okay, per kg rice should be sold at a rate of 100 rupees. Now this price obviously will be inaccessible for a large group of people who are poor. They cannot purchase rice at this high rate. So in order to make this necessary commodity available to the that poor section of the society, the government may imply or impose a new price, and that will be known as price ceiling. So over here the government will control or set up a maximum limit till which the price can rise. Okay, so if the equilibrium price is 100, the government will set up a price which is lower than this price, say P naught, and say this P naught is equals to 50. Okay, so this P naught is basically the price ceiling. According to the government ceiling policy, no matter what the equilibrium price is, the producer cannot increase the price above this price ceiling. That means they cannot charge a price above 50 rupees. So the maximum price that is to be charged from the consumers in the market of rice is 50 rupees. So what we can see now, as the government has lowered the price of this commodity rice, now a huge section of the population will be able to get access to the commodity who were not able to purchase it earlier. So the price ceiling is basically a maximum limit till which the price can rise, and this price ceiling is imposed by the government when the equilibrium price that is determined by the free play of demand and supply is very high. And the very high price of the commodity makes it inaccessible for a large group of people. So to make this large group of people get access to the commodity, the government reduces the price by imposing a price ceiling. Okay, however, the imposition of price ceiling that is by imposing a price ceiling at rupees 50, what the government is doing is that at this price the supply is Q1 and the demand is Q2. So what are we seeing, that at 50 rupees the supply is less and the demand for the commodity is more. So we are witnessing a case of excess demand. So the government motive was to reduce the price for the people, okay, by imposing a price ceiling. But what it has done, no doubt it has reduced the price for the commodity, but it has created a shortage of rice for the people, because over here we are witnessing excess demand. The supply is less whereas the people are demanding more. So obviously we are witnessing a problem of shortage of the commodity into the market. Okay, the producers are not willing to sell commodity beyond OQ1, and whereas the consumer are willing to consume a amount of OQ2. So the consumer demand is not met by the producer supply, and we are witnessing a shortage of commodity. So in this case, what the government will do, it will issue ration cards to the population in order to get access to the in order to give access to the commodity, the government will issue ration coupons to each member of the population, okay, and distribute the commodity according to the stipulated amount mentioned in the ration card, and they will use the distribution point as the fair price shops. So in case of price ceiling, this is the circumstance that we face. The price determined by the free play of market, the free play of demand and supply is very high. So to bring down the equilibrium level of price, or to bring down the market price, the government imposes a policy of price ceiling, which fixes a price which fixes a maximum limit of price above which the producer cannot charge, and that price will be known as price ceiling. Okay, now let us move to the concept of price floor. Now price floor is basically a opposite concept to that of price ceiling. It is imposed when your equilibrium price is too low in order to give benefits to the producer. So the price ceiling was basically imposed for the benefit of the consumer, okay, and price floor is imposed to ensure the benefit of the producer. So this is the demand for the commodity, say rice, and this is the supply of the commodity. Okay, now the equilibrium price is this E. Now suppose this equilibrium price that has been determined by the free play of market, demand and supply is very low, say 5 rupees. Now if the producer sells this rice at 5 rupees, he won't be able to get much benefit out of it. Rather, he will end up incurring losses. So what the government will do, the government will fix a price floor, say at this level, P star, which is equals to 20, P star 2, which is equals to 20. Now the price floor implies a minimum limit of price, or a minimum limit below which the price cannot fall. So even if the equilibrium price is 5, the price cannot fall below 20 rupees if the government fixes a price floor policy. So even if the market price that is determined by the free play of demand and supply is rupees 5, the fixation of a price floor will keep the market price equals to 20, okay, so that the producer can get the benefit of their agriculture produce. Okay, so at this equilibrium at this price of 20 rupees, the demand for the commodity is Q1 and the supply of the commodity is Q2. So what we are witnessing a case of excess supply. So the intention of the government was to help the producer by increasing the price of the commodity. However, they have created the problem of excess supply over here. So now what the government will do, in order to normalize the situation, the government will purchase this excess amount of the commodity that is produced by the producer. The government will purchase this excess amount of the commodity and keep it in their buffer stock to be used in the future for unforeseen circumstances. So this excess supply does not go waste. Okay, so the government also looks after after it, that the commodity that is lying idle in the market does not go waste. So what they do, they try to purchase it at rupees 20 and maintain their buffer stock to be used in the time of need. So this was the concept of price floor and price ceiling. Price ceiling is used when the equilibrium price is way too high for the consumer, and price floor is used when the equilibrium price is way too low for the producer. Okay, so now we will study the concept of cost of tax, that is basically the impact of tax. So the imposition of tax harm both producer as well as consumer. So how does it harm both producer and consumer? We will study by comparing the post-tax situation with the pre-tax situation. Okay, so let us start. First of all, we will try to determine the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity in case of a pre-tax situation. This is the quantity, and over here we measured the price, and this is the market demand, say DD, and this is the market supply, say SS. Okay, now at the pre-tax situation, this was our equilibrium and this was our equilibrium price P star, and this was our quantity Q star. So before imposition of tax, this was the situation. Okay, now in this case, this entire area above the equilibrium price and below the demand curve is the area of our consumer surplus. This entire area is our consumer surplus, whereas this entire area is our producer's surplus. Okay, now if the government intervenes over here and imposes a tax of this size, say this amount. Now if the government imposes a unit tax of AB size, that means at the production of every 1 unit of the commodity, the producer has to pay a tax of AB amount. Now the imposition of this tax or this unit tax will lower the price received by the producer to P0, okay, and will increase the price received by the paid by the consumer. So a imposition of unit tax firstly makes a divergence or makes a gap between the price paid by the producer, the price charged by the producer and the price paid by the consumer. So it creates a wedge basically between the two prices. Okay, so initially both the producer and the consumer were enjoying a price level of Q star. Now the producer are getting P0 star amount of price in return of their quantity, whereas the consumer are paying a higher amount of price, that is P1 star. Okay, now obviously due to the imposition of this unit tax, not only the price will increase, the quantity will also decrease. The quantity Q star will be decreased to a level of Q1 star. Okay, so imposition of tax creates a difference between the price faced by the producer and the consumer, and it also reduces the equilibrium amount of quantity produced. Okay. Now over here, before the imposition of tax, we knew that area A, B and C was equals to our consumer's surplus. So consumer surplus before tax. Before tax, consumer surplus was A plus B plus C, this area, and producer's surplus is D, E, F. So the area D plus E plus F is our producer's surplus. Okay, and the total surplus does is surplus, that is producer surplus plus consumer surplus is A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus F. This entire part is our total surplus. Okay, now what is the post tax situation? Post tax. Okay, now post tax situation. Now first of all, we have to understand why the government has imposed this tax. The government has imposed this tax to earn a tax revenue. So in the post tax situation, we will obviously witness an area of tax revenue, that is the revenue collected by the government by imposing this tax. Now tax revenue over here is equals to amount or size of unit tax, size of tax multiplied by the quantity of output over which it has been imposed. Okay, so over here the size of our tax was AB and it was imposed upon a imposed upon a quantity level of OQ star. It was imposed over a quantity level of OQ star 1. So the tax revenue that has been collected by the imposition of this tax is this area BD. This was our unit tax, and this is basically equals to the size of the quantity. So if we multiply this vertical section with this horizontal section, we will get this area as our tax revenue. So our tax revenue is B plus D. Okay, so from the total surplus, the total surplus was this entire area before the imposition of tax. Now after the imposition of tax, from this total surplus, this BD area has gone into the pockets of the government. Okay, entire in the initial scene or before the imposition of tax, this area was entirely owned by the consumer and this area was entirely owned by the producer. Now after the imposition of tax, this area BD area goes into the pocket of the government, that is the producer surplus and consumer surplus is reduced by this amount. Okay, now in this change circumstances, what is our consumer surplus? What is our consumer surplus? Initially it was ABC, now it will be only A. Okay, because this is the price faced by the producer, price faced by the consumer, and this is the area above the price faced by the consumer and below the demand curve. So consumer surplus in this new circumstance will be only A. So see how much it has reduced. Initially it was A, B, C, now it is only A. B has gone to the pocket of the government and C has been lost, because about C and E I will explain it bit later. Now focus just on the consumer surplus in the post tax situation is only A, and the producer surplus is now only F. This D amount, initially it was FDE. Okay, so now D amount has gone into the pockets of the government, so the producer is left with only F amount of producer surplus. So what do we see? That the producer surplus and the consumer surplus has been reduced by a significant amount. Now the total surplus now is A plus B plus D plus F. Now the total surplus is A plus B plus D plus F. Okay, although this B and D are going into the pockets of the government, but this amount is deducted from the surplus earned by the producer and the consumer even after imposition of tax. So these surplus are generated. Okay, after the generation of the surplus, these surplus are getting deducted from the pockets of the consumer and producer. So in calculating the total surplus at the post imposition of tax situation, we will consider the total surplus is equals to A plus B plus D plus F. Okay, so now you might be wondering why I am not speaking about this area C and E. Our total surplus pre-tax situation was A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus F, and in the post-tax situation our total surplus is A plus B plus D plus F. So what is the difference between these two surplus areas? The difference is of the area C and E. Okay, the difference between the two area is equals to the area of C plus E, that is this area. Now this area of has been reduced from the total surplus. Why? Because this surplus was being generated when the output was equals to OQ star, that is in the pre-tax imposition period we were able to produce a higher amount of quantity, and the surplus associated with this higher amount of quantity was A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, so at that circumstance C and F amount was also generated in form of surplus. However, due to imposition of tax, the quantity produced has reduced from OQ star to OQ1 star. Now as the quantity of production has reduced, the surplus generated by it has also reduced, and it has reduced by the amount C is amount. So C plus E has been reduced due to fall in output, and this area of C plus E is known as the area of C plus E is known as deadweight loss. Okay, or DWL. So this area of C plus E is known as deadweight loss. Deadweight loss is the amount of fall in the surplus due to imposition of tax. Okay, this area. So what have we seen? That the imposition of tax not only reduces the consumer surplus and the producer surplus, but also reduces the total surplus by C plus E, and thus creates a area of deadweight loss for the society too. Okay, so whenever we study about the cost of taxation, we try to study it in terms of the welfare, and the surplus for the consumer, the surplus for the producer, and the total surplus basically implies the welfare of the society. So what have we seen? The imposition of tax has reduced the welfare of the society by a huge amount. Okay, and it has also reduced the producer surplus as the consumer surplus separately. Okay,